So, who pays your bills? What's it like living alone? What happened to the rest of your family?
Shouldn't you be studying right now?
Ugh, I know. But I hate studying.
Well, everyone does, but I'd feel really bad if you failed that biology test because you spent the day you should have been studying at Jeunesse with me.
Oh, come on. I've got this, with or without studying.
Something tells me that that statement is incorrect. You've spent more time asking me questions than answering the ones for your biology test.
I'm just a little envious, that's all.
Well, I don't want your envy nor your pity. Besides, would it be okay if I asked about your home life?
Well, my family isn't anything special. They're so boring we'd both end up falling asleep if I explained how boring they are. Like, they're so boring that I'm certain that I once saw them in the dictionary as a synonym for the name. Either that, or I was so tired I started hallucinating in English.
Happens all the time to me too.
Also, where's the pizza? Shouldn't it be here by now?
Never fear, the pizza is now here!
Why does the pizza have a video in it?
You see, after many, many trials and errors, I have finally developed the ultimate pizza! Behold! Commentary material pizza!
Make us a new pizza, or I'll burn this entire restaurant to the ground.
Oh yeah, sure thing, boss.
I hate Bob.
Hey, you dropped the video. If it's commentary material, I assume that means it's worth commentating on.
Well, we have nothing better to do for the next 20 minutes, except for having you actually study.
Nah.
Okay, fine, I'll cover it. Fucking hell. So on YouTube, there exists a YouTube channel known as CinemaSins who popularize themselves by making videos where they go through movies and supposedly point out everything wrong with them. In actuality, it's more so nitpicking, but that's kind of the point. Now, there exists a YouTuber by the name of Chari5 who uploads parodies of these videos, but instead he goes through video games like Mario or Sonic, and a while ago, and by that I mean 2015, he did one of these on Sonic Adventure 1. Just a heads up, but Sonic Adventure 1 slander? Yeah, that'll not be tolerated in this household. If any of you have the audacity to slander Sonic Adventure 1 within my vicinity, I will break into your fucking house and drink all of your soda. Anyways, later on, a YouTuber by the name of TonySonic did his own CinemaSins parody on the CinemaSins parody Sonic Adventure 1 video, and I'm covering that video. That's all you need to know, so without further ado, let's begin. Also a reminder, no Sonic Adventure 1 slander. Don't tempt me, I am thirsty.
Go Sonic! Yeah, Sonic!
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 Negative forces aren't the only way to empower the Chaos Emeralds. Our positive feelings toward each other can make them work.
So first things first, why? If you ask me, I think this introduction goes on way too long. I get it, you want to showcase this cutscene as a way to say, hey, I'll be doing a video on Sonic Adventure. But better idea, how about we not do that? Because really, all this is just a cutscene that does little to actually introduce the video. It would have been much, much better if you started when, you put the everything wrong with stuff on screen like most other CinemaSins parodies do. Just a suggestion.
Oh yeah! This is happening!
Oh no, not the loud music again.
One thing I will admit is that Sonic Adventure's music is loud as hell. However, it's not too loud to the point where you can't hear anyone. Most of the time.
Yeah, but the music is still loud, even if it isn't so loud that it overpowers the voices, at least most of the time. And hell, the fact that it sometimes can is still an issue.
The SSPD went to the Gotham City Police Academy of Driving.
Branrich makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin in the game cliche.
Well, the pop culture reference is alluding to the fact that the police are driving in an incredibly, not how you usually drive kind of way, and thus there is a sin here that the SSPD officers don't know how to drive going off of the incredibly dangerous way they drive in this one scene, as they drive like officers in Gotham would. Apparently. I don't know much about the DC stuff.
So, are we all just gonna ignore these huge floating rings around us, or... Okay.
Adventure was made around the time where separating story from gameplay elements wasn't so easy. Even then, I'm pretty sure the water monster will be a bigger priority.
Okay, but even if this is a product of the game being incapable of separating gameplay and story elements, what does that change? To the guy saying that, that's still pretty weird, and your first point doesn't really explain an in-universe reason why the characters might not acknowledge this. Honestly, I would have just countered it by saying that maybe rings are, common or something, and so the police just don't care.
Come on, you big drip! Where you going?
Big Drip has to be a porn category, I just know it.
Disgusting!
Not only is this not much of a sin, it destroyed my eardrums. Next time you go for an ear rape joke, please audio balance it for everyone's sake.
Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!
Sinning this line. Yes, it's badly performed, but it's in the so bad it's good category.
Well, that's ultimately kind of subjective, so I think it's fair for Chari to want to sin that since it's still bad line delivery whether or not you think it's so bad it's good.
Long time no see, huh?
Okay, I get the line is overused, but it's true every time someone says it.
Yeah, still sin-worthy whether or not it's true if he finds it overused.
Other variations they could say are just longer versions of long time no see.
Yeah, that's true, but if Chari is sinning it for its overuse, then I don't think he'd mind if they use a different line whether or not it's slightly longer.
Or else what, you big loser?
Sick burn, bro.
Chari sins something he likes cliche.
Actually, I think he was being sarcastic here based on his hushed, almost mocking tone of voice.
Oh no!
If you have hammer space, which I to this day believe it's in your ass, why did you have the Chaos Emeralds in your hands, you idiot?
First of all, that's gross. Second, oh, the absolute irony.
TonySonic doesn't bother explaining the sin cliche. I think that's a cliche. I honestly don't really care. But honestly, what's the irony? Because it's not incredibly obvious. Maybe it's that Chari's an idiot? That would be mean, not gonna lie. Don't be mean.
Strength increases every time I feed him a Chaos Emerald. All Emerald in him will be invincible and work for me.
Yes, and no.
Eggman would never know about the last part until it happened.
Well, it's not like he's trying to say that Eggman should have known or seen it coming. He's just trying to say that the first two things Eggman said are true, the last is not.
Sonic! We can't let him get away with this, can we?
Of course not, you fucking moron!
Give him a break. Tails has always had a little bit of naivete. Plus, this is part of his character arc in becoming less reliant on Sonic.
Well, yeah, Tails is incredibly naive, but whether or not he is, his line delivery of the phrase, "Can we?" makes it sound like he genuinely is questioning whether or not they should let Eggman get away with his evil plan. Whether or not Tails is naive, it's fair to say that would be kind of weird.
Gambling, you know, for kids.
You're aware Casino Night Zone exists in Sonic 2, right? You know, the level based entirely off a casino?
Even if Sonic has had casino stages in the past, I wouldn't say that really means the sin here is wrong, because that wouldn't change the fact that casinos aren't particularly considered a thing for kids. I mean, remember, kids aren't allowed to go to casinos, you have to be 18 or older.
What's up, Knuckles?
Why you telegraphed your last punch, I have no idea.
Again, this game was made when separating gameplay from story was a little too tough. The only reason other games didn't have this problem is because more often than not, the cutscenes took place in areas with nothing around. And even then, they were still janky.
So? Like, yeah, that explains why that's the case, but in Universe, that's still just a weird decision on Knuckles' end.
Yes, Mr. McGarn, could you please give us this line? It goes, "Ah, Eggman! We really need you to give it your all for this one."
Eggman.
F it, the game ships tomorrow anyway.
That's cringy.
How? No answer? I guess maybe this'll count for TonySonic doesn't explain the sin cliche. I mean, something being cringe is such a bare-bones explanation when nothing here is visibly cringe, unless you said this in a mirror. That's relatable.
Knuckles, don't tell me Eggman tricked you again.
Me? What about you?
What about him what? Eggman didn't trick him.
Sonic points that out.
Yeah, I think he can still sin it whether or not Sonic points that out.
Now I have 4 lovely emeralds.
Chari makes a Sesame Street reference.
And the problem is... something? What's wrong with referencing Sesame Street?
Long time no see!
Okay, this might be a little premature, but given how many times this line is said in these games, I'm gonna make this a cliche. Chari sins the series' most iconic line cliche.
Long time no see is Sonic's most iconic line? What? Maybe most recurring, sure, but most iconic? Like, what happened to lines like,
Oh yeah! This is happening! Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies. I'm out of here. I like running better. What you see is what you get. Just a guy that loves adventure. I'm Sonic the Hedgehog.
and that's only half of the ones off the top of my head. This game series has a lot more iconic lines than just long time no see.
Amy.
Moonwalking.
Brenrick points out things on the screen cliche.
Yeah, and that thing on screen is something as visually jarring as Sonic stepping back in place. Chari and the other guys whose name I can't remember should be allowed to point out things on the screen as long as they are sin-worthy. This is an example of that.
Look here! It says, you just getting free!
Amy, where on earth does it say that?
On the screen next to the entrance. I would show footage of this, but I couldn't find any footage of it. And I don't have a capture card, but rest assured, it is there.
Yeah, well, wherever the screen is, it isn't exactly visible, and it isn't clear that any sign is in the direction of where Amy is saying that. I think the sin is fair game.
Stop!
Theoretically, couldn't Sonic ride the beam up to the egg carrier too? Why doesn't he just do that?
Because it closes shortly after Zero is all the way up there. So if he did try it, he'd just fall back down.
So why not hop in the moment he starts floating up? I think that would give Sonic plenty of time to get in with Zero.
Ready to roll, champ? Let's go!
Roger!
Nope, not for another 11 years.
Ignoring the fact that that's another common saying.
Ignoring whether or not you find the joke funny, pointing out how Roger is a common saying is entirely unnecessary when Chari is just making a joke about Roger also being the first name of the guy who would later go on to play Sonic from 2010 onwards.
Wow! It's changed shape! Did you see that?
Darn! This makes it harder for us to get to the bridge.
I hate it when he doesn't listen.
To what? Literally all you said was that it changed shape and he acknowledged you.
He acknowledged that it changed shape, but he didn't acknowledge how cool it looked to Tails, which is what Tails meant.
No. Tails wasn't trying to say that the egg carrier changing shape looked cool. He was asking Sonic if he saw it change shape. Sonic may not have given Tails a direct answer, but he worked off of what Tails was saying by pointing out it made it harder to go to the bridge that way.
What is your wish, Master Robotnik?
Domo arigato, Master Robotnik.
I'm not going to say that's racist since, well, it was a joke, but it's still kind of cringy.
1. How would this be racist exactly? All I can tell is that he's speaking Japanese. Is that act of a non-Japanese speaker speaking Japanese racist? Maybe if he mocks the language, yeah, but I don't believe that's what he's doing. 2. Even if this is a joke, it can still be racist. Racist humor exists after all. Unfortunately.
What's with all the cartoon sound effects?
It's called penis music!
Trick? No one makes a fool out of me.
Except Sega, Sonic Team, and Big Red Button.
Sonic Boom would not come out for another 16 years. Besides, that universe is dead now and is the only instance of Knuckles being truly dumb. In the mainline games, he's arrogant, but not a dumbass.
I think for the lot of this joke, you're taking it way too seriously. Like, batting back with, OMG, Boom wouldn't come out for 16 years is such a dumb retort when the joke isn't that you've already been made a fool of, Knuckles, remember all these things that happened, but simply, except for these guys. Following that up with, the universe is dead is also pretty pointless because, like, what does that matter? It doesn't take away from the joke, it just means that a universe in which Knuckles was made a fool of, in a literal sense, has been dead for years. Though now that I think about it, since this video came out in 2015, which was a year before the final Sonic Boom game came out, it wasn't exactly dead when this joke was made, by the way, TonySonic, just a heads up. I mean, I'm pretty sure you know this video came out in 2015, you talked about that in the description and in the video itself, if I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, whatever.
Were they really too lazy to create a new environment for this flashback? This leads me to believe that Sonic and Tails met in the Mystic Ruins.
You've never been in a forest before, have you? Loads of forests look similar to each other.
Yeah, but still, given this is based on a location that already exists in the game, you could get the wrong idea and assume that Sonic and Tails met in this stage. Though if you ask me, I think it'd be fair to believe that the story wants us to believe that Sonic and Tails met in the Mystic Ruins, even if that'd be a retcon of prior lore established in Sonic 2, where it said they met in South Island. Though, to be fair, that was just stuff from, like, the manual, so, like, who'd care?
The servers are the 7 Chaos. Chaos is power, power enriched by the heart. The controller is the one that unifies the chaos. But the number 7 is the same as the number of emeralds there are. Emeralds? Forgive me, but I don't think we've ever met before.
So why are you telling him all that?
Because she's nice. Charison's characterization cliche.
Okay, but even if Tikal is nice, it is still weird that she just start rambling about plot important stuff to Tails, even though he literally just showed up and she has no idea who he is.
I wonder what happened to Sonic.
Do you think I should make this a cliche? Well, we still don't know the context behind it, so I say wait it off a little longer.
I mean, you could just make a Chari sends random lines for one reason or another cliche. Even then, I think it should be clear he's trying to send lines he feels is poorly delivered, with this being a good example, given the jank as fuck delivery of, I wonder what happened to Sonic.
I've changed a lot since I've started hanging with Sonic. But I can't depend on him forever.
Tails, this is not the time to have an epiphany.
Tails is a lot faster than you believe. I mean, he has to be if he can keep up with Sonic.
What does that have to do with any... Oh, because Tails is thinking to himself while Chari thinks he should be getting a move on. So your point is that Tails could run really fast. First off, probably could have made that a little more clear by starting the sentence with, don't worry, Tails can catch up easily. But even then, you should remember that Eggman is trying to nuke a city here. Even if I don't necessarily agree with the sin on Chari's end, it would be better to get a move on or at least have the epiphany while running to stop the nuke.
Chaos? It's that creature again. The same one I saw on my island. He was there when the Master Emerald shattered. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, we were there when it happened. No need to think out loud.
Branrick Sin's characterization cliche.
Is there a TonySonic acts like something Chari or his friend criticizes a character doing is a characterization cliche yet? Well, either way, it's annoying. Especially since, when was Knuckles the type of guy to monologue all his feelings out loud? Maybe in this game, though I don't really remember to be honest. But is that really a part of his characterization in anything before or after this? No, at this rate, as harsh as it sounds, it really feels like all you're doing is making excuses for the game at this point.
No, hold on. That shit went straight through him.
That's because this game is very old and dated. The only reason people act like it's the cream of the crop is due to nostalgia and nothing else.
Yeah, now you are making excuses for the game. Whether or not this is old as fuck, that doesn't mean Chari can't send this obvious visual mishap. Tony. For the love of heavens, please don't try and push that on Chari or the other guy whose name I don't care to remember. Also, remember what I said about no Sonic Adventure slander in my household? Yeah, well thanks Tony, I was getting really thirsty. But, wow, I actually do not like this claim from you. The general consensus on Sonic Adventure, going purely off reviews on the internet, usually discuss it as being fine or good for its time, but not particularly being the cream of the crop. Sonic Adventure is my second favorite 3D Sonic game, only behind Sonic Unleashed, and while I think the game has a number of glaring flaws, from the hub world exploration often being very cryptic and confusing, the visual audio presentation of the story being far from great, and Big the Cat, but I, like many others, think that the game has many upsides to Sonic's level design and control, and find the various other gameplay styles to be pretty fun for the most part. I'm not trying to say that the game is objectively good and everyone has to like it, but I will argue the claim that nostalgia is the only thing this game has for it. Also, why did you say any of this? Chari never implied that people acted like this game was the cream of the crop. Hell, Chari doesn't even try to act like this game is either good or bad. He's literally just throwing out sins and that's it. Bringing this up is like throwing your hands up like someone's about to punch you when all they said was, pass the salt. I don't really need your salt anyways, I have enough built into me from seeing the sins, so from the nicest bone in my body, I'll kindly ask you to be quiet.
I get that scene was a little drawn out, but Knuckles was thinking it over very thoroughly. He needed the time.
Sure, but they could have perhaps conveyed that better. Knuckles doesn't look to be contemplating anything, just walking in place for an unnecessarily long period of time.
Ah, jeez.
Again, this is a very old game.
Your mother is an old game.
I'm back in front of the altar. This is beginning to blow my mind.
Oh, your voice totally reflects it.
That's because people didn't know a lot about voice acting in video games at the time.
You know what? At this rate, I'm just gonna make TonySonic makes excuses for the storytelling, visual, or audio issues cliche a thing. Like, To actually discuss this, that's just plain incorrect. People knew about voice acting in video games. I mean, it was literally just regular voice acting just for video games. The reason Adventure probably comes off as very amateurish is due to poor voice directing and likely a low budget for casting, not people not knowing how to voice act for video games.
Besides, as badly voiced as this game is, it's certainly better than Resident Evil 1.
Your mother is better than Resident Evil 1. Now that I think about it, that's actually more of a compliment than anything. I take that back.
Last missing piece. All right. Now.
Knuckles?
So what if he's posing?
Somehow, TonySonic misses a part where he's also hovering to the left of the screen like nobody's business.
So Knuckles gliding, something that he does every day, is funny?
You know, I just now realized that the audio for when TonySonic sins is only in one ear at a time? Why? Anyways, no, they're not laughing at Knuckles gliding because he's gliding. They're obviously laughing at the way he's animated gliding sideways and zooming off screen in an instant. It definitely could have been handled a bit better here because it just looks weird.
I'll probably be on this floating island forever, guarding the Master Emerald again.
Until Sonic Heroes, where everyone just kind of stops caring.
First of all, he doesn't know that yet.
Guy whose name starts with a B isn't sinning on the basis that Knuckles should have known that, you rip-off pre-lunatic.
Nobody forecast a storm or anything.
Oh my god. Just everything.
I guarantee you, if you saw a giant airship overhead, you'd react the exact same way.
The point isn't that she's reacting to the airship, it's the way it's animated that is making them laugh. Also, wait, now that I think about it, would you really react like that if an airship flew overhead? Like, maybe I'd understand turning around in surprise, but not wide open mouth.
You almost ran me over, creep! Oh no! Let's get out of here!
There's no goddamn way that Zero didn't see Amy walk into the burger shop.
You're right, except you ignored the part where Zero looked through the window to see if she was still in there.
Is this a real video I'm watching right now? Okay. This point confuses me because this feels like the mother of all reaches. So are you trying to convince me that Zero sees Amy walk into this burger shop, looks inside through a window and doesn't see her, so he just assumes she already left in the 5 seconds it takes for him to catch up to her? Also, he literally could have just turned to his left and he would have been able to see Amy. The logic this works off of is incredibly goofy, not gonna lie.
Now, calm down.
Amy, that bird looks dead. It couldn't possibly be any calmer.
Chari, this is a late 90s game. Expression work for characters other than the main ones wasn't exactly common.
TonySonic makes excuses for the storytelling, visuals, or audio issues cliche. But seriously, what's the point here? Bring up the fact that, oh well, it's a late 90s game, of course he'd look dead because non-main characters probably weren't a priority for modeling means nothing against the sin of him looking dead other than being an explanation as to why that would be the case.
Amy's small enough to fit through those bars, right?
Not when there's a giant robot in front of her.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. She still seems small enough to fit through those bars. It's not like Chari's trying to suggest that she just hop out right then at that moment. If she's small enough to fit through those bars, she could have done it earlier. Even then, I'd argue that this is simply a case of perspective, as in a prior shot, the bars looked smaller than Amy due to where the camera was situated, so I'd like to assume that this is a similar case.
A pendant!
Are you... what? Are you telling me you never noticed the big-ass pendant around the bird's neck?
Mainly because her hands were over it the whole time. Also, you acknowledge the pendant, but don't acknowledge that that's where the emerald was.
The pendant is that big, and somehow you expect Amy to not notice that she has her hands over it. That's weird. And dumb. Like this video has been.
Oh god, oh man, I'm sorry.
We're terrible people.
No, you very much aren't sorry, you sadistic bastards.
Imagine being called sadistic because you're laughing at the poorly executed way a bird was executed. I mean, yeah, it's still them laughing at a bird getting fucked up, but it's not just because the bird's getting fucked up.
Also, 12-year-old panty shot. Who the hell writes these?
Bernard is a pedophile. I don't think we're allowed to use that word.
So I take it that's why I used it anyways. Ignoring the seriousness of just offhandedly calling somebody a pedo, why would B-Man be a pedo when he's actively sitting the game for Amy's panty shot?
As you can clearly see, LeBron James.
I'll save you.
This boss fight is so easy it makes one wonder what the fucking point was!
To reunite the missing part of Chaos with the rest of him.
Wow, that's neat. Maybe they could have done that in a cutscene or something instead of giving this a dedicated boss battle.
Besides, what can you really do with a character whose entire playstyle is fishing?
That's really not a good excuse. Like, the boss lasts just a few seconds because all you have to do is get close and fish him out. They could have made getting Froggy out a little harder, so it would take maybe a minute longer or something.
As you can clearly see, LeBron James.
What the hell is this music and why don't we ever hear it again?
Because it doesn't fit any other moment.
Really? An uplifting, adventurous theme song doesn't fit any other moments in this game? I can name a couple of moments it would probably fit, like when Tails shows up to give Sonic a lift to the egg carrier right before the final boss, before Sonic fights Chaos for the first time. I'm just throwing out some offhand. And while I don't think the song needed to play more than once, the point of this interjection is just, that's not completely true, TonySonic.
Still better than most songs on the radios these days.
Oh, sick burn, bro!
Word of advice, don't laugh at your own jokes. It only makes it obvious how bad they are.
Chari is laughing at somebody else's joke. What the fuck are you talking about?
Give me the bird.
She would, but the censors wouldn't allow it.
That's it! I'm going to find his address, go there, and kill him right now. Whoa, DT, don't act that raspy. He deserves it!
Really, this whole darker you voice you're doing is so cringe because it's so obvious that it's you making your voice slightly deeper. There's been this running joke that Ripoff Neos is mad at B-Man's dirty jokes, and for some reason now he's going to kill B-Man for offhandedly suggesting that she'd give Gamma the bird if the censors would have allowed it. Because Ripoff Frig has made so many jokes about not being particularly happy with B-Man's suggestive jokes, this makes me believe that Ripoff Evil Sugar thinks that this is also a dirty joke, which... Bruh, giving somebody the bird is an alternative way of saying somebody's gonna give the middle finger. Why are you so fucking mad? The best I can muster is that you might have thought this was a dirty joke. Otherwise, maybe you thought that this wasn't worth a sin, but in that last case you could have elaborated on that better.
Thanks again for saving me as usual, Sonic!
Okay, now Amy's just being a dick to Gamma. He was the one who let you out in the first place. Plus, she kinda makes it sound like she gets captured a lot. The first and only other time I remember that happening is in Sonic CD.
Even though they weren't anything special, there were still a ton of gains made in between this and Sonic 3 and K. Plus, like I said, she's not entirely safe until she gets off the ship.
Yes, but she doesn't get captured in any of those games. Thus, Chari is right to question when this could have happened. Also, why bring up the fact that Amy is not safe until they get off? Chari's 2 points are that Amy comes off as a dick to Gamma for, I guess, not thanking him while also thanking Sonic, and also making it sound like she's been kidnapped more than once when this doesn't seem to be the case. Again, I ask, what does pointing out that Amy is not safe on the ship do against the sin? That she can't thank Gamma yet? I mean, she could still thank him for at least getting her out of her cell, I assume. Like many of the points I have problems with, this feels like an excuse and nothing more. And I think that's a good sentence to end this video on because thanks to my convenient foresight, I know already that this video has nothing substantial for me to cover, at least nothing I'm interested in. Boy. To reiterate what I said in a prior interjection, I think this video is dumb. Initially, when I started scripting this video, ignore how this makes no sense in the context of my lore, please. I didn't anticipate the level of disdain I'd end up feeling towards the video, and this has nothing to do with my feelings towards the everything wrong with format or Chari, but your handling of this video. So many of your points feel like excuses, and you sometimes come off as a fucking know-it-all and a dick for little reason. I get it, the everything wrong format is prime for ridicule if you're not into it, but this didn't feel like the way to go about it. I'd recommend approaching these videos with a much more subdued tone, and also maybe think about whether or not some of these points are more than just simple excuses. Really, I just want to close this video and go home, but if you see this, TonySonic, just know that I wish you and your Year of Sonic good luck in spite of how much I dislike this video. That's all. Well, that was a thing that happened. And the pizza still isn't here. That's just fucking great.
Yeah, that's a shame. I bet the pizza guy is making the greatest pizza we'll ever see in our lifetimes.
I'll hold my breath. So, since you seem so hyper-focused on asking me questions, you got any more for me while we wait for this pizza, Joey?
Not really. Do you have any?
Why? Well, I am wondering where your commentary is, since it's been God knows how long and you still haven't shown me anything.
I accidentally spilled soda all over it this morning, so I still can't show it to you.
Sure. You know, if you don't mind me asking, why do you want to do commentaries? Like, I get you think they're fun to watch, but is that it?
Of course not. Joey always has an ulterior motive.
That sure doesn't sound concerning.
It's all part of my master plan. This guy right here? Yeah, he's gonna be massively popular.
You're kidding.
Not at all, my good friend.
Through commentaries, though? Not even I'm that popular. I was, through the niche community that follows them, but that was a long time ago. Who's to say they'll show you the same mercy they did me? They were kind of savages at times.
Luna. Everyone in the world are savages, but that's why I like people. Besides, it definitely won't be the only thing I'll do to make myself more popular. It's only a small step on the big Joey World Tour. Trademark. And you'll help me, won't you?
Fine. I owe you one.
I appreciate it, bro.
Me and Joey spent the rest of the day goofing off and not studying. So much for helping him pass that biology test. But we enjoyed ourselves, and that's all that matters. Afterwards, it started to get late, so I went home.
Come,